Hey everybody, this is Suppository Saturday. You probably didn't know that, but everyone doesn't want to watch the Michigan game, so if you're not, you can watch this later. But today I'm just going to show you how to make suppositories. I get this all the time, and I've made them for so many years for myself or others that I just know how to do it. But I'm not always the best with measurements, so I got it all figured out for you just to make things a lot easier. So today we're going to be using suppositories. There's a different couple ways of making them. And so if you don't have the molds that you can buy on Amazon, and I'll make sure that all the links for the products that I'm talking about today are in the link or in the whatever the notes. But actually, let me get these out. I already have made up a couple so you can see what the end product is going to look like. And so there's a straw method, like if you have a bigger straw, not a small straw, like a shake straw, right? And you can make them with this. And how you do that is you're going to fold over the bottom right here, like twice. And then of course you don't want to come undone. So if you just get a stapler and staple it, do it a couple times, right? And it will make a mold for you. So this is one that I already did earlier. You sort of can see maybe the color difference right here. And just out of convenience, I will cut it. So right here, all you're going to do is just push them up like this. Gotta be strong. May need to melt a little bit for a second coming out of the freezer. And so they're just going to keep coming up. And then you can like break it in two, either when you get it out or beforehand. I may need a little bit more time to get it a little bit softer. And then of course, needs a little bit more. Hold on, let me do it another way. This is going to shoot across the room. Usually I wait a few minutes. I probably should have just done that. Hold on. Anyhow, can you imagine? So we'll wait for a second. It's going to get a little bit softer and you just can squeeze it out. Or if you put it underneath hot water for a second, but you really don't want to do that. You just want to wait for a second. And then you can pull the suppository out and then you can insert it rectal or vaginal. I didn't even say that yet, but I mean, how many ways would you use suppositories? So we're talking about using suppositories rectal and vaginal. For many different reasons. I can't disclose to you the reasons why. Maybe one I could say, like if someone had bumps in their butt, but otherwise you have to figure out for yourself what you're doing, what you're going to be using in the suppositories that you're making and why, because I can't tell you that because of the FDA and the FTC. Okay, so, but you can imagine there's a slew of reasons. I know that rectal application is the best way to get nutrients or medicines into your lungs. They do that medically. Do you guys know there's something called fecal transplants? And if you don't know about that, just go Google it. Fecal transplants is when they literally get fecal matter from a healthy person and then implant it into a unhealthy person's who has unhealthy microbiome, and they implant it rectal into the person, someone else's poop, right? So, I choose to use oils and probiotics instead of using someone else's poop, right? So there's many things you can do. Let's see if this guy's ready now. Well, a little bit longer. Now, I'll show you, this is the mold that's new sort of on Amazon. I love this so much. I just took off the little cap, as you can see, and it comes like this. It is so helpful. And here we go, a little suppository ready to go. That is amazing. This is 2 milliliters size. And this is like considered an adult size, although we know kids poop bigger than this, so you could use it for a kid too. You just would use more of a carrier oil, which is the coconut oil, versus using essential oil in it because kids wouldn't need as much, right? But this is what happens. You pop all these little bottoms off. It comes out really nice and easy. If not, it comes with a little applicator, or you just can use like a chopstick and just poke it through and it's all good. So works out exceptionally well. So I'm making some suppositories for a person who's coming over later on today. So there's a couple different ways of doing it. You want to use coconut oil, organic, unrefined. If it's refined and already in a liquid state, it's not going to work. But if it gets cold, it gets solid. Like this is right now, this is just coconut oil. So this is obviously in a very solid state. It's going to melt while we're talking here. And then you can use beeswax, but I don't want to work that hard. You got to melt it and do all this kind of stuff. If you want to do it, great. I don't want to do it, but you can look up recipes. I don't even do that one. So once again, we have a straw method and we have the suppository method. So let me just move these aside here. And so what we're going to do is when you got your coconut oil, you can put it like perhaps over a heater vent in your house, or put it in a container or in the sink with some warm water. You really don't want to heat it up because then it's going to be too hot. The oils are going to separate from the essential oil, and then you're going to have, it's going to mess up your suppository. If you had to, you could turn on the stove for like a second. If you had coconut oil in here, put the glass over it for a few seconds, and then that's going to melt the rest of the coconut oil if it was already in a solid state. And then that will help out, but you don't want to, once again, you don't want to have your coconut oil hot, okay? So I have a mixture here, and I'll have all the recipe for you as well. But you're going to get 1 tablespoon, no, let me think about this again. 1 teaspoon, how many teaspoons am I doing again? Are we live? I just did this earlier, but now I forgot. What is it? Because I was making for other things. Dang it. 1 teaspoon. So this is, where is my notes? Hold on. Right there. So 12 milliliters. Okay, each of these is 2 milliliters. So 6 times 2 is 12. So we have 12 milliliters here. Of course, we don't want all coconut oil. So we're doing 1 and almost a half teaspoons of coconut oil. That's where we are. I gotta get the solid or the liquid part in here. So here we go. I need to put my glasses on, to be honest with you. Okay. Okay, and then I need a little bit more. And then the rest of it is all gonna be essential oil. And of course, we don't want to waste here. And I already know, this is a 15 mil. Of course, I want to use Young Living Premium Essential Oils. This is a 15 mil. It has about 250 drops. This is a 5 mil. This has 85 drops. And so I'm using Aroma Seeds, which is a blend of cypress, basil, marjoram, peppermint. Am I missing anything? I think that's it. Lavender. And then heliochrysum, which is one of the best amazing oils, and then frankincense. And so I'm going to take these orifices off because literally I need 15 drops of each times whatever we just said. What did we say, Steve? So I end up needing, how many was it again?
6.
6 what?
A total of 90.
Yeah, 90, that's right. And 1 milliliter is 17 drops. So how many am I doing now? How many of these am I doing? Do you know? We just figured this out, man.
It's going to be 30 of each, I would guess, if they're all even.
Okay, this is 2. This is 2 of Frank. What is it for real? What are you saying? I got 2 milliliters, 17. So that is going to be 15. That's 30. So I need 2 more, right? Yes?
Yes.
Are you just saying yes?
No, you need a total of 90.
A total of 90. So I just
So
have
that's going to
30.
be 30 from that one, 30 from that one, 30. So 30 from each.
Oh yeah. Oof. I promise you we had this figured out. At least you'll learn how to make it. Okay, here's Aroma Seeds. If oil, like Aroma Life has a carrier oil in it with sesame, so we don't, I believe it's sesame, so I can't use that because that's not going to turn to a solid. Hold on here. I don't have any accidents. And then heliochrysum is, 85 drops. So let me see here. Oh my goodness. Can't even get this in here. Let me see if I can turn this sideways a little bit. Well, that's not going to work. So let's do it the old-fashioned hard way here.
You want to pour it in the container.
Okay, hold on. This is a thinner oil, so it comes out a little bit quicker than some. Does anyone know?
Yeah.
Okay, so now we have our mixture. You can see essential oil and coconut oil. And this is a really important part, is you want to make sure this is really mixed up, because if you don't mix it up good enough, when you go to put it in the freezer and it's sitting there in the freezer, it's not going to solidify fast enough. I mean, it's not going to solidify fast enough with the oils not being mixed. It could be coconut oil here and essential oil here, and then that's not going to work when you try to take it out. If that ever does happen to you, of course, just rub it all over and use it as a little body oil, right? But that's not the goal. And I want to tell you what not to do is don't try to use a little funnel like this to do this. It's just going to waste your time. It turns into a hot mess. And if you're perhaps skilled enough or do this enough and you have a really good point on a glass bottle, then you can make it in here and pour it. But if you're not used to doing it, don't do that either, because once again, waste your time. You can use a little pipette they have. I really prefer the syringes, and I really prefer the syringes with the actual measurements on it. And this really pulls up much nicer, and it doesn't drip out on accident. So this has a very good seal on it. So once again, I'll give you the link. You can use the eyedropper, however you want to do it, whatever you have at home. So what's going to happen here is I usually, can you pull this in, Steve, so you can see? I will suck up the oil, and you can either shake it inside here, which I will do, and then I usually just put it back inside as well, just to make sure it's really like shaken up well. Like you can see, I know you can't see this, but can they see that? Like you can see like the essential oil is really mixed into this coconut oil very well. So I'm gonna pull this up again. And then, I need my glasses. And then you're gonna go to, you can shake it again. This one doesn't really drip. And then you're gonna just slowly push it into each one. And let's just show you, I don't know, Steve, can you see this? It went over a little bit. So then if you do, you can go like this and pull back up, and it sucks it back up. So you're not having excess, premium essential oils just wasted, let's say on the top, which once again, they won't be wasted because you can put them other places, rub them on. So literally that's all you're gonna do. And then you're gonna stick this in the freezer. And if you ended up doing it in a straw format, let's see if this guy's ready. Okay, so here he's coming up now. Now he's easier to squeeze out. So here we go. I already broke it into two. So then what you're gonna do is just store these in a little plastic bag that you can put in the freezer, and then you take out and you use, usually if you're gonna take a nap or at bedtime, it's the best time to use these, because during the day it's just gonna leak out, right? And it's gonna be a little uncomfortable. So you want to just go put them in the freezer. Once you're done with it, like you can make a whole bunch, push them all through, put them in the freezer, and be done with it, and just use it as needed, when needed. So now, if you just poured this in here, which would be obviously easy to do, then this is what you want to do, is make sure that you have something ready to go and a space in your freezer for this. So you can use rice or black beans, and if you had a whole bunch, you can stick them in here. If you don't have any of that, you can put a towel around it, but you got to make sure, it's not going to lean to the side because it will spill out and all that kind of stuff. So just make sure you have it secured. If you got a little vase, you can put them in a vase, whatever, and put it in the freezer. You just have to make sure you have a space for this, because otherwise, when you're carrying this to that location, you're going to have a mess if you don't already have that planned out. And of course, a flat surface for these guys. You can sort of see that there's oils in this one and not in this one, because I'll just finish that in a second. Back in the day, if anyone's ever heard of ProTech, we used to use that, or if you happen to have some of that at home. But you can make up your own ProTech with this kind of stuff. And really the best way to use suppositories for rectal application, because you have 6 feet in your large intestine, is to use an actual catheter. And this is what we used to do and teach all the time. This one's still sealed, so I'm not going to open it up. But you can imagine you would get a syringe like this. You would insert all of the material that you're going to be using, and then you put it inside here. Of course, this is already in your rectum. You don't want to use KY jelly and all that kind of stuff. If you're going to do that, you'd want to use coconut oil or olive oil or something like that, because we don't use petroleum with any of Young Living essential oils, because the oils will eat through the petroleum and then you're going to have a problem. So don't mix any petroleum-based products with Young Living ever. So anyhow, the best way to get this far enough up in your rectum to really have a significant benefit for your whole colon is using a urinary catheter that you put in that material and you push it all in, okay? It's very important to do that. And then of course you retain it as long as possible, okay? So that's what this catheter is for. You use a syringe for that. You can put probiotics in with this as well. Of course, take out the capsule. You can put it in your material of whatever you're making and insert that rectal as well. Here's different applicators. Can we go this way for a second, Steve? There's different things that you can do. Of course, if you put a suppository right in your rectum, it's going to stay right there in the surface, right? You want to get over the sphincter muscle and inside and stay there. And so there are rectal applicators, which I'll put this link on there, where you would actually just put the suppository, where'd it go? They haven't melted too much yet. You put the suppository right there. Hold on. And then, you know, you get this in location, and then this would help insert it over that area, right? So you have at least, what, 2 inches? So that will be helpful to get up higher in the rectum. And then this catheter as well actually has, I don't suggest this because this doesn't work as well, but once you get your material in there, you can insert this in your rectum and push the material in, but it's a little bit better if it's a little bit longer, but that doesn't come with that. And then this is a great one if you're using vaginal or rectal. And this actually, you would put in here and you would suck up all the lubricant, or not the lubricant, the material that you're looking for. And you can see it has a pretty large cavity here that it can hold as much as you're looking for. And then obviously this would be inserted into the rectum or vagina, but don't obviously cross-contaminate, right? And obviously these things are disposable as well. And then you can insert it in there and all the material goes in there, whether it's a liquid or a cream or whatever it is. So this is a great applicator as well. It comes 2 in a pack. So once again, I can't tell you why we would do this, but I can tell you that this is how you make them, and one of the easiest ways. Did I forget anything, Steve? No. When I'm all done, which I'll still fill these up, but I won't waste your time with that, I make sure you get all the edge of this, and if there was a little extra, of course, do the straw method, or if we have more of these. And then, you know, I just put my hand in the cup when I'm all done and rub it all over, right? Because you just don't want to waste any of this beautiful essential oil. So I think that may be it. Do you see if there's any questions real quick?
I don't see any.
Okay. I think that may be it. So remember, if it's refined coconut oil, it's not going to work. If you want to figure out how to use beeswax, you can do that. I'll put the links for these applicators on here. Colon hydrotherapy is excellent. Coffee enemas is excellent to do as a cleanse. You know, if you have a health concern, you should be doing it for a period of time. It really helps to pull toxins out of the liver. You can do this method every day depending on the situation that you're looking for. You shouldn't have to do it every day for life, right? You're doing it every day to get rid of a situation. So this person has bumps inside their rectum and it takes it away. So that's excellent, right? And you don't have to worry about using other things. Let's see here. If you think it's crazy and this is crazy, go even look up fecal transplants so you can see that this stuff is like for real, which is that's interesting. Medically they do that. That's not a natural thing. That's a medical treatment that's being done. And every day is a good day for a suppository. It's done with ease. It makes you feel fresh, right? So anyhow, thank you so much. I hope you enjoy your day, and I hope this helps.